Hello, viewers of the spell, to part one of What If Asta Was in Fairy Tale. Now, if you want to skip to the what if, just go to the timestamp on screen. Two things real quick. One, if you don't know, because I didn't get this at first when I started looking at what ifs, basically part zero explains things happening before the start of the main series, and backstory. Part one's when the main story starts. Two, second thing I want to mention is 20 subscribers. Yeah, big milestone. I was wondering if I would ever get to this. Who knows? Maybe 100 by the end of the year. That would actually be amazing for me, but we'll just have to see how that goes. So, let's get on with the what if. So, it starts off with Lucy and Natsu entering the Fairy Tale Guild Hall. Things start off the same here, with Natsu starting a massive brawl. The main difference is Asta's involved in the brawl this time, and physically picks up Natsu and throws him. Hey, let's talk about this. How many times do I have to tell you, no fighting in the guild hall? With Natsu promptly getting thrown into the bar. Lucy would also recognize Asta since he's somewhat famous for his ability to negate magic, similar to Natsu having an epithet already. Everything else goes about the same. Lucy joins the guild. The big difference here would be the mission to save Makao. Asta joins, and they promptly stomp the monster that was possessing him. And going on to the next arc. Natsu would look at the job, think it was great for Lucy, and would also see if Asta wanted to come along just in case this book was enchanted, because this was a lot of money. And Natsu might not seem like it at times, but he's smart enough to realize, at least in this what if, something might be up. So he brings Asta along just in case, like, the book was cursed, then it released some eldritch abomination. Don't want one of those things happening again. So things would go the same here, where they're told that the book has brought misfortune to this family, and they would wish them to destroy it. Asta would find this curious, but would go along with it. Maybe they'll get more information as they go. When they reached the building, Lucy got rejected for the maid position because of the owner's odd taste. They'd break in, and after Natsu tries acting like a ninja, and Asta more or less just letting him go with it, and with Lucy asking him if this was a normal occurrence, which Asta just asked anytime you need to be sneaking. Natsu just, you know, acts like a ninja. When they were attacked by the maids, Asta would quickly summon his sword and bash them away, and Natsu would just light Virgo on fire, and they would quickly presume to find the book, with Lucy recognizing that it was written by a famous author. Natsu wanting to try to light it on fire, and Lucy just saying that she's going to read it. Asta then chiming in that they have company, and in the doorway would appear the Vanish brothers, along with the owner of the mansion, who was short and had a mustache. Yes, I forgot his name. Lucy would tell them to buy her a few minutes, as her and Happy ran off with the book. She thinks there's something up with it. The owner of the mansion would pursue her, and Natsu and Asta would confront the Vanish brothers. The battle would be fierce. Unlike in canon, it was a 2-on-2 battle. The Vanished brothers would be shocked at both of them having near inhuman strength, with them even trying their heaven and earth technique, slamming both Natsu and Asta into the ground, which they proceed to just get up from. Natsu, being tired of this, would launch a fire dragon's roar at them. The attack would get absorbed. Being surprised, thinking that was something Asta would do, and realizing they were probably going to try to launch it back at him, Asta would remind Natsu that if it's his own fire, he can't eat it, and just told him that he would handle it. He would bring the Demon Dweller sword out, holding it like a bat. The Vanished brothers would scoff on what he's planning on doing, and they launch the fireball at him. Asta, just smirking, says, "Batters up," as he hit the attack back at them. Them being surprised would be caught completely off guard, and the Vanished brothers would be defeated. As they're patting themselves on the back for their victory, Virgo would emerge again, catching both Asta and Natsu off guard, thinking they had already defeated her, and that she seemed insanely strong. Asta would just tell Natsu to handle it. He has a bad feeling that Lucy might be getting caught off guard by this guy's weird magic, and would run after, while Natsu would handle Virgo. Their battle would continue off camera, both in canon and in the story. Meanwhile, down in the sewer, I'm guessing, Lucy is deciphering the book when the owner of the mansion grabs her. She would get free and reveal that the book contained incriminating evidence, what the owner of the mansion had done, and the levels of corruption he was involved with. He would sneer and pull a dagger, as Asta would come in and block it. The owner of the mansion would be shocked that they survived the Vanished brothers, and quickly pulled out a key. Lucy recognizing it as a celestial spirit key, one of the gold ones too, as he summoned Virgo. And Natsu, weirdly enough. Both Asta and Lucy would be shocked by this, since Asta knows about a bunch of different magics. He would know how pretty much this was unheard of. And things would go as canon, since now things would go pretty easy, since Asta and Natsu would just team up and pummel Virgo, and Lucy would summon Cancer and give the owner of the mansion a really bad haircut. The mansion would also collapse. When they went back to the man who hired them, it was revealed that he's the son of the man who wrote the book, and things would play out as normal, with Lucy revealing that the book was under a spell and that the book actually was meant to be given to his son. And they would also hand the information over to the authorities, so that the scumbag wound up getting arrested. On the way back, they would run into Gray and start a different adventure. Alright, hope you like this part. This is going to be a bit longer than my last one, I think. Saying this before I finish editing. And if you like this, like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments with your ideas on where this story could head. I'm going to try to put this out every other week. I have other what-if ideas I might try to. I'm also hoping to try to speed up the creation process a little, because first time doing this, so really my biggest trouble was writing this, and most of this was actually just unscripted. I got about halfway through the script and then just went off, because that is how little I wrote, for the simple fact it got all complicated when I was writing. So yeah, I'll be seeing you around.